Welcome everybody to Keeper of the Light. God, quite a big role. So welcome everyone that's just joined us from the energy activations and everyone new. Wow, what a time in Earth's history. What a time to be incarnated at this time. What a difference that, we see in that, many of us starseeds and light grid workers having on the planet at this time. It's just incredible. The light and the light codes that are coming through and the activations, just building and building and building and building. And, the frequencies that we're seeing are going up exponentially now for humanity. And we will start to see that as, we progress, from today and into 2022, we'll start to see some really big shifts on layers of consciousness and, even more of a shrinking in that third dimensional aspect and some of those third dimensional habits that humanity has as, as a third dimensional being. We will start to notice those, diminishing more and more and more with time. So we've got some beautiful work to do tonight. It's a pleasure to be asked to be stepping forward at this time to be conducting this work with you all in the World Service event. A lot of all of the work that you're starting to hear and participate in, I've been doing solely by myself, consciously, but then on some of the very big pieces of work, connecting in with each and every one of your consciousness too. Because the work that we do is, very profound in nature, and I can't do it individually now because of the structure of the work and the depth of the work that we're being. So there'll be some aspects of tidying up that we'll be doing in humanity. We'll be cleaning up some of the sewage treatment plants, believe it or not. I channeled the creator, when was that? Was that last month? Yeah, was that in December or January? I forget. But there's, new aspects here that we're being asked to do on the planet because everything has its own unique frequency. And if something has a frequency like this, if we invert the frequency of it, which we collectively, it cancels it out and brings about homeostasis. So there's some toxins that we'll be looking at in the treatment plants that can then not get caught in all of the filters that go out into the, the estuaries and out into the seas and into the tributaries, and and then the sun comes along, and that's right, into all of the fish and the animals, and then the sun comes along and heats up the sea, and we create the clouds, and then the clouds come back down on the mountains. So very, very, very pertinent timing for some of the cleaning up work that we'll be doing shortly in just removing some of those biological toxins. And we will later on too, into 2022, there's going to be some aspects, and I spoke about this before, where we will be bringing forward some new species too onto the planet, carried by the beautiful interdimensional dragonflies. And if anyone's worked with them in meditations, and I will work those into some of the meditations into January next year, because on my channel and these World Service events will be quite regular in nature. So we will be doing quite a few of them. And, consciousness as it is at the moment, as I say, like, it was quite hard for me, even with the psychic development work and really being asked to move everything online like I was, 18 months ago, to be able to touch more and more people. And, it's my intent that, we grow this to having hundreds and then thousands on the call. People, start to spread the word here, so we can start collectively as a soul family here you know, with a single focus and purpose in, you know, uniting as one and really being directed by the higher realms of consciousness and the beautiful galactic brothers and sisters, you know, with the will and intent of the Creator too, to bring about a lot of this change that required at this time. So we'll be doing a beautiful piece of tidying up work. The beautiful Chakra Queen will be guiding us through a most amazing guided meditation and activation too. So there will be a consistent theme where we bring you into the right space, time and dimension. Some beautiful activations to help you on your spiritual and galactic journeys of remembering who you are. And then with, oh, by the way, we're just doing this little piece of world service event. And, you know, for me, it really, you know, it comes as for me to understand why I'm here on the, you know, on the planet at this time, and each and every one of us, because so many people ask, well, what can I do to help? And, you know, what's my mission and purpose? And, you know, spending more time in these world service events, being anchored within your sacred heart space, will develop that opportunity for your sankalpa or your purpose, or as Deepak Chopra says, your dharma, into why am I here? And big aspects of why we are here collectively at this time and why we've chosen to incarnate is to support our fellow humans. And it's not that we're better than them, it's for us to say, don't worry, we've got your back, you know, because there's many in humanity that still may be somewhat asleep in nature, but you know, they know that the activations that we do, that, you know, we need that support of others that can see what's going on, if the others can't, to just illuminate our light, not to tell them what to do, but to give them that opportunity as a beacon to start to follow the light, you know, like a lighthouse does, to guide them off of the rocks so they don't run ashore and, you know, start to injure or hurt themselves or have some mishaps, that, you know, we can direct them into the safe route so they can come and dock and yeah, and experience the beauty of life like many of us do. It's been quite busy for me, you know, as keeper of the light. I've had some interesting experiences. Not sure where I land with some of those, but yeah, interesting experiences. It comes with some challenges for the work that I do, because some beings in the universe don't like the work that I do. So it's beautiful that my backup plan is that everything that I know, and we will be writing down kind of like our spells, because, you know, words have an inherent octave and frequency, you know, the tone that we use, that my beautiful partner, the Chakra Queen, I know my back. And it's important for me because, and she's not alone, you know, I've got the beautiful keeper of the stellar gateways here, and Kevin, the keeper of the Atlantean light codes, because we need to work collectively to keep an eye on each other, to support each other. And you know, that became very evident to me this morning when there was a little bit of a mishap with yeah, maybe a level of the protection that I'd had in my sleep space, because when we protect our homes, you know, we can create like an impenetrable force field around it. But when I find in the morning that if there's anything trying to come in, it's typically then like when I've stirred in the morning, like when I've, you know, when I've awoken, and then, oh, I've just drifted back to sleep again. Or sometimes if, you know, it's late at night and I've wandered off from the couch and not been mindful enough to make sure all the force fields are up, that, you know, things can come in then. And I hear that repeated story of, you know, many people. So we will be doing some work on that too in early January, on sharing that information on my YouTube channel, and some of these tools and techniques that, you know, every one of you should be really, you know, putting into place. And with me, you know, my biggest teachers are some of those people on the other side of the fence and some of these beings, because by the interactions that I have with some of the darkest of all of the galaxies, that I start to understand more of the tools and techniques then than I can employ for myself and my own preservation. And then also start to teach everyone, oh, here's something new that I've just learned, so let's share that with everyone too. And we've seen that as things have really progressed with our energy protection workshops, that when we presented those, they were actually already out of date for the literature that we have created, because there was a new aspect there that just popped forward at that time. And that's what we're seeing in this continual evolution of consciousness as we're, you know, moving through, and with humanity who's stepped over that beautiful golden bridge into the fifth dimension that we supported them with on the 1212 activations, and then earlier tonight on our monthly energy activations. So we'll be continuing these monthly energy activations into 2022, and then also side by side with some more world service events. So it's a beautiful privilege with the beautiful light beings too that I channel on the 1212 activations. It was wonderful to be channeling Archimedes and Pleiades. It's the first time that I've channeled Pleiades. Archimedes came through probably about a year ago to do some work, and then also to bring about that illumination into the physical aspects of humanity. And the work that we're doing, you know, when we're starting even today and clearing away some of these toxins and things that are on the land and in the water and things from some of these mishaps that we've seen at some of these sewage treatment plants, there will be an ease and things that comes from us doing that. Like we can feel in the context of, you know, humanity, there's much like with 9/11, when that happened, there was like a reverberation of consciousness around the world as people started to see that, you know, and it touched people and it shifted people. We do the same things too on the illumination and the work that we're doing here. So it's a beautiful time for us to be here, to be working as one, as a collective soul group, to, you know, one, evolve ourselves, and then two, for service for humanity. And that is the definition of alchemy: 100% service, 100% spiritual growth, 100% service for humanity, with a little bit in there for time for yourself too. Sometimes not quite enough, but sometimes a little bit. Yeah, so we'll be, do you want to come over and have a little talk about the guided meditation and activation that Anita's brought forwards? Yeah, so we will really start to notice, because there's been lots and lots of spring cleaning that's been going up through these different dimensions with these different beings. And yes, there are some small little pockets, but there's nothing like there used to be, nothing like there used to be. So we will really start to see some tremendous changes in 2021 to, you know, what we've been experiencing and seeing here on the planet. Some big changes, you know, big changes. And that's at part by the, you know, the work that we're doing here on, you know, very auspicious day of 21/12/21, you know, as we're in that galactic portal and coming to the culmination of those 40 days from the portal that was opened on 11/11. So part of these world service events too, I'll be sharing a bit more the work that we can do playing in some of these portals and stellar gateways, and there'll be some opportunities too that I'll ask Sharon to step forward as keeper of the stellar gateways to, you know, impart some of her wisdom and knowledge too, when we wish to maneuver and start to play in some of these different realms. And also there in some of the tools and techniques that I teach on the psychic development that I'll be bringing through too. So there's going to be some beautiful activations for everybody on this platform too, that will just support you in your daily endeavors of, you know, being far more intuitive and far more connected with yourself, to enable you to start to see what's coming up around the corner in your life from what you're actually creating in the present moment. So we have those beautiful opportunities to, you know, to grow exponentially here too. Okay, beautiful chakra queen, would you like to come over?
Wow, what a day. What a year.
Is everyone looking forward to a break? And a bit of a,
we had such a lovely day today.
Foot off of the accelerator.
Off that doing accelerator.
Yeah, moving out from human doings into human beings. Yeah, illuminated human beings.
Right. I'm there already.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the activation we're going to do before you then do the world clearing.
Sure, that's right.
We feel like this is very much a world activation because it's really ushering in a very important aspect of our homo luminous and our quantum light body and all the things that we've been working on. And for anyone on this call, if you've missed the 2112 activations and all our activation events, highly recommend that you do them. And this really is such a connection, because all things are connected. If you look at the flower of life behind us, you've got your egg of life, which is those 2 circles. Then you've got the seed of life, which is all the circles. And then you've got the fruit of life, which is 5 circles in a cross, which of course is contained back here. And then you've got your flower of life, and then you've got your tree of life configuration within that. So I think all of us love the flower of life, and it's actually understanding all those other aspects in there, which are going to weave into this meditation. And it's fun. It's just amazing how things come together. Like I was having a moment under the crystal light bed on yesterday afternoon, had a client cancel, and I thought, oh my gosh, being time for me. And I made a beeline and I went out like a light. I was so tired. And as I was sort of just starting to stir, what I was noticing was this bright golden yellow color in my third eye. And it sort of, even while I was half asleep, it sort of struck me as strange, because the color crystal that's bleeping on your third eye is obviously amethyst. And all of a sudden I saw this beautiful fairy, and the fairy had this green body and these bright golden wings. And then it was like, boom, I was awake. And then suddenly the word came into my heart space. I really noticed it, Pan. And I'm like, Pan. And then I raced off to my phone, and I knew straight away it was to do with the elementals. And I looked up Pan elemental, and it turns out Pan is the god of the elementals. And we've been talking a lot about the elementals. And do you want to just share the significance of the elementals at this time?
Sure. So at the fall of consciousness, the aspect of love and that gateway into our sacred heart space was kept by the elementals on the planet. That was part of their role. If you've ever worked with the elementals, they have such a beautiful, playful, joyful, sometimes a little mischievous, energy that comes with them. And that playful energy that we see in children that just live in the present moment. And it's beautiful, and we will wrap some beautiful guided meditations into that too for next year, because the energy and love that you feel when you're working with the elementals is incredible. And
many of us have had lives as elementals. I feel the pixie for me.
Yeah, you can tell people.
I've got the pixie ears that go backwards. I do. I've always thought, well, I got those ears that go like that.
I've got Prince Charles big ears.
Oh no, you don't. No, you don't.
Do I look mental?
Mental, did you say?
Mental, yeah.
But we all know Peter Pan.
Yes.
What colour is Peter Pan?
Green. That's
and
the first thing I thought of.
Gold. Yep. And that I just thought, there's always an element of this mystical world that's weaved into our childhood.
It is with those stories, isn't it? And those fairy tales and
Yeah.
You know, we start to piece together the significance. It's like the clues have been left there for us, you know, to actually start to follow those.
Yeah. And we've really had this, we loved Saturday night with Kevin and everyone. And Kevin really drew us back to the crystalline grid, and we were doing some work ourselves. And you kind of get caught up in your own journey. And Kevin reminded us that we needed to put it back into the grid, that it's a way that when we connect the crystalline grid now with our grounding, that if we're connecting ourselves up and bringing those light codes in, it's not just for me. I'm a pure conduit of light. I've got to put it back in. Like if I've got a solar panel and I've got more power than I need, you put it back into the grid. And so this really, it's like all these little pieces of the puzzle are coming together for this particular activation. And yeah, it was amazing how when Pan came in, and then I was just kind of daydreaming, and next thing in the spa today, it all just fell into place, and I felt so connected to Pan, and was really quite playful. And when the strawberry came in, there was a real connection to the strawberry having seeds on the outside, and I went, oh, seed of life, fruit of life. It was really quite amazing to me. And I realized that if every time we connect to our food, and again, Kevin was really preempting this, that you give blessings to the food, the people who collect the food, the plant that bore the food, was bearing the food, the tree, the fruit, a continual blessing and gratitude. And then if you keep going and you keep going, you're going to start thanking the elements, which Sharon has brought in. And there's a way that when you bless your food like this, it's also a way that if you're connected to the grid, you're keeping in this cycle of life, that I bless this food, I connect to the energy of this food, my body's going to resonate with this food, and then I'm also putting the energy back into the grid. It's just amazing. And so that's going to be a big aspect, which we will just touch on at the end, but I really want to just instill, we talked just in the last activation about prayers being so important going forward, whether that be Buddhism or whatever resonates with you. And I really think bringing in this offering, that the food is an offering. And when you go to a Buddhist temple, as my beautiful soul sister Linda took me, everyone brought an offering. And I think that this is recognizing your food as an offering to the gods, to the elementals, and then to me, and then back into the grid it goes. Yeah.
It changes the food.
Linda.
It changes the food. It changes the taste of the food. It does.
I think it changes your ability to absorb the nutrients.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely does. Yeah, it heightens it. You get far more nutrient rich food from just even acknowledging it and tasting it too, when you're being conscious of ingesting it
and growing our food and connecting. Absolutely. And actually Linda would know, there's Amanda on a group we're in that we chat. She was saying how she's got this 100-year-old peach tree in her garden, and she goes out there and she thanks the tree and she picks the fruit and then she eats the fruit there. And this tree is the most amazing looking tree for a 100-year-old peach tree. Incredible. Okay.
Great. So you're going to take us through a beautiful opening meditation?
Yep. Right, this is going to be big. It's never been done before. So get ready. Let's do it.
Okay, I shall scoot it over and let you do that. And then from there, we'll have a little intermission where you can just have a quick drink, and then we'll move into the beautiful world service event after the meditation and activation. Would you like me to bring that up for you on here?
I would just like to mention one thing, so we've all got our intention upon it.
Sure.
Who loves a dragonfly? It's a very spiritual animal. And I was just reading then, Sharon and I were just looking at it because we felt we really needed to connect with that animal totem, the spirit. And I just want to read out to you what it said, that the dragonfly spirit animal spirit guide possesses the power of light, wisdom of change, learning through experience, a symbol of joy and lightness and deep connection to thoughts and emotions. Those who can comfortably change flight patterns midair. And isn't that just what we're all doing at the moment? Call on the dragonfly as your power animal and it will bring you flexibility and fresh perspective. So yeah, I just thought pretty amazing, because just to go back to the creator, when you channeled the creator, it was the dragonfly that is going to be the animal that will seed new species of animals. So we're actually creating that tonight.
It reminds me of an interesting story, probably, or an experience I had probably 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, when I was in my kitchen and I'd just been to the supermarket and brought the shopping back onto the counter we had, for a mid-counter, and I noticed a dragonfly out the window. And it was interesting because it was one of my first experiences then of working with the Galactic Federation and the Galactic Council. And it was very pertinent because it was a little bit of preamble training for me, for them just checking to make sure then that my level of consciousness was enough to be able to work with these beautiful great beings of light. And it started by me seeing this dragonfly through the window, and it flew off, and I thought, wow, that was you know, sometimes when you see things you think that was a bit strange, because it was like it looked at me and I looked at it and we connected, and then it flew off. And I started unpacking the shopping, you know, getting out the produce and things and putting it away. And it was at that time that the Galactic Council came through, and I was having a communication with them. And they said to me that they'd been observing the work that I'd been doing here in humanity. And they asked me whether I wished to step forward to start supporting them in that role of keeper of the light of who I was. And I then noticed in that communication that I was having with them, looking at all of you on the screen here, that dragonfly came back. Yeah, and it came back to the window, and it was like it was buzzing, looking in. And so I looked at it once, but then I was continuing with the conversation here with the Galactic Council, still keeping a perspective on what was going on over here to my right-hand side. And we were talking for, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 minutes. And I was still keeping an eye on the dragonfly, but without going to the dragonfly, by looking over to it. And they said to me that that was part of my induction to see whether I could hold 2 points of reference for that time, on noticing what was going on over here while still actually being focused on everyone here on the call. And they said to me after that I had passed that initiation, that was part of my initiation there to come in and work with them. And it was a beautiful induction to the work that I did with the Galactic Council and the Galactic Federation for many, many years on the planet, you know, being their primary human embodied illuminated soul that worked with the Galactic Council and Federation to clear away a lot of all of this darkness that had been inhibiting humanity for all of these years. So it's a very, very sacred animal, the dragonfly, and one during my, you know, many over 10 years worth of study in alchemy that we've played quite magnificently with the energy and frequency of the dragonflies. And the meditations and the journeying that you can do, you know, sitting on the back of a dragonfly and going for a little fly through the dimensions that we will do on here, and I'll bring that forward into early next year, was absolutely incredible, amazing. They showed me the aspects of sitting on the back of the dragonfly, what the 6th dimension looks like, and in the constructs of the work that we'll be doing on here too, it's building that framework for humanity, because the 5th dimension, you know, we built that golden bridge for humanity to step over, and we're actually going a step further into the 6th dimension. So it'll be nice during the guided meditation, I'll bring that forward early next year for you all to start to see and feel what the 6th dimension looks like, because the 5th dimension is incredibly beautiful, but the 6th dimension is just like, wow, you know, it's just another purer aspect of, you know, our whole living being and who we are by being an illuminated being, living in our sacred heart space, speaking freely from our throat chakra, really engaging that 5th dimension, but then using all of your sacred sites from the activations on making sure all of this is nice and cleansed and pure, and there's no toxins or pesticides or fluoride and things like that, that we'll be doing some work on each and every one of us on here, but then also on the World Service events for humanity, to start to remove all of the fluoride and pesticides that accumulates here. Even with the temperature too, that someone brought that to my awareness, when people are being temperature checked to see if they've got a high temperature for the things that are going on in the third dimension, how they bizz you up here and the doors going into places where they can actually use any aspect of, you know, your skin to get the temperature. So if you're going into any place where they want to check your temperature, tell them to check on your hand or somewhere else and not up here, because it can calcify the area
that's
too.
such a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be doing some cleaning out too of everyone's third eye area, because that's the aspect of where we're going into the sixth dimension. So you're using all of your third eye, and then also we'll be doing some activations there on the fourth eye that most people don't talk about. So we start to really be able to see very clearly interdimensionally, because lots of people want to see interdimensionally and to have a little look at what's going on. And it'll be beautiful to be bringing that forwards too then in these teachings on these Keeper of the Light and the free world service events, where we're doing that for ourselves, 100% spiritual growth. Oh, and by the way, we'll just be cleaning it all up for humanity too at the same time. So I hope that sounds okay to everybody. Because it's a beautiful gift when you see, you know, and seeing is my primary psychic superpower, and it is a beautiful gift to be able to see that, to be able to see imbalances within people's bodies for illness or disease, or, you know, loved ones in spirits or any interdimensional beings. And we all have that capability. So it'll be beautiful to relinquish what I know about switching on and activating all of that, because I've had to go through that journey myself. And the beauty of it now is it will take you a fraction of the time that it took me to do that. Sound right?
Yeah,
Great.
beautiful. I'm ready.
Lovely.
Sharon's going to pop in. There's going to be some light language
Sure.
to anchor this.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be you guys. Great. Okay.
Is that what they were talking about? Because as I was sitting here, I had the Palladian Council of Light and the Arcturian Head Council and the Sirius Keepers of Light Codes. I said, oh, there will be a channeling that we wish to bring forwards. And it can be quite tricky without going too far into, you know, when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm having a second conversation with the beings that we bring forwards. And I thought it was on the second part of the World Service event, but if they want us to do that,
it's just activating. It's just
those
the
activations too,
activation.
we can do that now, because they did want to come forwards in the Orion Head Council for this little piece of World Service event. I'll be channeling them for us to collectively do that one.
Right. So
It's beautiful, like the Galactic Council and Galactic Federation. You know, I've done a tremendous amount of work with them, and I will do a little piece of reconnection, because for the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months, I've not been working with them as much, because when I've gone up into the ships, onto the holodeck and spoken to these beings, it's kind of like, oh, well, what's that being over there doing here? One from the other side of the fence. Because when you can see, then I see what the Palladians look like and the Syrians and the Arcturians and everything. It's like, hang on a minute, who's that and what are they doing here? So there was a level of infiltration into the Galactic Council and Federation that the work that I do, which is why I had to step back, you know, working with those beings. Not to say that they've been like that all the time, because they haven't, because for the years that I worked with them very, very closely, those beings weren't here. But when I noticed that those beings were there, it was like, I'm just going to have a little step back from doing that. And then it was really in the work then with the creator, and then working with the Palladians and the Arcturians and the Orions and Sirius Keepers and Light Codes directly have really been kind of my guides, and then really my support team for the work that I was doing, because then I know that the beings that I'm working with are of the eternal light and not just at this particular point in time. Yeah, little prelude to some of that little history too. Got many stories to share. Wow, it's amazing if you go up in a UFO. Incredible.
Better put it on our bucket list.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, just amazing. They just control it all by, telepathics. There's no controls. It's like the floor of Saturday Night Fever. If you remember that film with John Travolta and the illuminated floor and the decks and things. It's exactly what it's like. Incredible. And actually, we will have an option here with everyone. Sorry, I will stop soon. They're just telling me that in one of the guided meditations and activations, we will take you all up into one. Yeah. So don't get fearful about that. We'll be going in the good guys ship.
Good
And
ship.
I'll make sure that you're all grounded so we know how to come back too. Yeah, they would like us to do that. So we will do that. Yeah, in January, they want us to do that. So
That might be 11-1.
yeah, so we'll work that into, giving you that experience here too. Didn't know they wanted us to do that too. That's how it kind of rolls. It's like, oh, by the way, let's do this too. So yes, we've got lots more to share here. So we've got lots of work to do, which is brilliant. Okay, enough talking for me now. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, now I guess you two will just kind of know. I'll just give you the nod when I'm coming out, and then you'll just come in.
Sure.
Or will we just hear you from the side? Why don't you just come a little closer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can keep an eye on me.
Sure.
Okay.
The recording thing's ready to go for you.
Thank you. It's unfolding as we sit here. I've been like tuning in and I keep getting little snippets. It's very cool. Okay, everybody. So it's time to deep dive. So just get yourselves comfortable, have a drink if you need one. And we're going to really go on a journey together. Third eye switched on. And that great tool that Robert teaches us, and we'll actually do this at the start. I think it'd be a great way to start, actually. Right. Okay. Ready to go? Okay, we're ready. Just taking that breath into your body vessel. Hand on your sacred heart space. And just a smile into your sacred heart as you feel that energy transfer. And just say out loud so you can hear your tone as you attune your tone and drop out of your mind into your sacred heart. And just listen to the way you say, I am in my sacred heart, gentle, angelic, loving, and saying it again, I am in my sacred heart. I am Archangel Michael. I am Archangel Metatron. I am Master Kathumi. I am in the 100th dimension. And let us ask these great masters and great beings of light, please clear my psychic channels, activate and engage my psychic channels. You'll just feel that shift and anchoring. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're ready to go on a beautiful journey within our sacred heart space. So just shrinking yourself down, down, that little mini me with that intention. I am in my sacred heart space. And let us connect to the elementals. I am Pan, God of the elementals. And just visualize yourself as an elemental. Are you a pixie? Are you a fairy? What are you wearing? What color are your wings? Just imagine within your sacred heart space this beautiful gathering of joy as the elemental, as you come into your elemental family of light. Just feel that lightness within your heart space. And Pan is leading the way. He's beckoning you to follow him. And you feel so held and game and mischievous. And you notice as Pan walks forward, you're on a path. And the path is wooded. And as you walk along and you weave through this path, and you notice the trees and the mushrooms, the little flowers sprinkled amongst the greenery on the floor of the forest. And you feel the warmth of the air, the humidity. And you can hear the trickling of water, a river nearby. And as you turn a corner, you see this beautiful, grand gateway. Have a look at your gateway. How does it look? Is it wooden? Is it arched? Or is it rectangular? What kind of handles are on the door? And as you draw closer, Pan is opening the doors. It's a double set of doors. And as the doors open, in rush the noises of monkeys, birds. The forest has become alive with nature spirits, plant spirits. You feel yourself fully connected into the infinite grid of life. You feel yourself floating now, flying now, and following crystalline light codes, fractals of light in amongst the birds' noises. You feel the chirping, activating within your sacred heart, carrying sound waves, light code, so much color, so much sound. And as you follow Pan along, you feel yourself twisting and turning, seeing the monkeys, animals scurrying. And then Pan brings you to rest, all the fairies and pixies, standing in this beautiful glade. So green, green on green, and gold, golden flowers and colours all around you. And all of a sudden there's a rumble under your feet and you feel you're being lifted on these blades of grass, lifted even further, and you feel these leaves opening up under you. And it's like a tree is rising up out of the ground. And just feeling that joy and safety as everyone is giggling and laughing at this beautiful tree that is rising up under you. And you know that you're going up through the dimension. You're in the 100th dimension. And as the tree moves up, you're being taken up through the 6,000th dimension. And as you're being taken up and you look down and you see the forest below, the forest is getting smaller and smaller and the sky is becoming closer and closer. You're beginning to hang on to the leaf that you're sitting on, and this tree continues to grow. I am in the billionth dimension. There's light. Look at the view. I ask Pan, what is this tree? And Pan tells me it is the tree of life. Serena, the largest tree in the Amazon. It has these most magnificent yellow flowers, and the pollen is blowing in the wind. And you feel your wings as they flutter, taking on that beautiful golden pollen of the Serena flowers. It feels so joyous. And as you look over the canopy, you're sitting down on your leaf, with gentle breeze caressing your wings. And Pan asks for your attention. He looks at us and he says, you have such an important job today. Today, we welcome in the sixth dimension and the new tree of life, the Serena tree of the sixth dimension. That we, the elementals, have protected this tree. We have nourished it. Gaia, she knows this tree so well. And he tells the story how this beautiful tree was seeded within the heart of Gaia. She nurtured it within her womb. And she has been waiting and waiting a millennia for humanity to be ready for the Serena tree, the tree of life. And he tells the story how the tree grew with roots from the heart of Gaia in the billionth dimension, in her etheric body. And the Serena tree grew its roots down, down into all these beautiful layers and crystals within Gaia's body. And those roots found their way to the bottom, and they threaded their way up around her beautiful round body. And then her trunk grew and grew, and it's found its way to the light, like a little seed in the dirt. The Serena tree pushed her way up to the light, and she grew and she grew, and we nourished her. And Father Sky looked after her, and the weather gods, the rain nourished her, and she grew and she grew. And her canopy, so magnificent, and now sits to this day as the tallest trees in the Amazon, with this beautiful network of roots talking to all the trees on Mother Earth. Such great connection that she brings to the crystalline grid of Gaia. And he tells us this story, and he says, and now it is our time to activate our dear Serena's power. Humanity needs her. Humanity needs a tree of life that will awaken them and bring them into their consciousness, loving Gaia, loving nature spirits, plant spirits, elementals. We all feel so drawn to this calling. We ask Pan, what are we to do? Pan says, dear ones, connect to your sacred heart. You contain the magic, the joy and the love. Today we activate the beautiful green color codes, the green light of Gaia and the golden light For these are the sacred colours that we have held as elementals for millennia for this time. And you are going to spread this into the crystalline grid and beyond. And we're still waiting for our instruction. What do we do, Pan? Oh, he says, dear ones, breathe into your sacred heart space. The magic is all contained within you. I want you to invite in the billion angels. Just say, I am the billion angels. I am the billion angels. And I invite them into my sacred heart space. Pan says, now you are going to take a breath in. And on your out breath, you are going to release these billion angels as a billion dragonflies, the bearers of light. So together, we take a breath in. And on the out breath, release those green and golden codes from your sacred heart and release the billion dragonfly angels out from your sacred heart space. And feel their wings, hear their buzzing noise. They are flying amongst us. The air is thick with these beautiful dragonflies. Their green bodies and their golden wings are playfully flying amongst us and around us and through the serena leaves. And we notice they're flying into the serena flowers, the golden pollen. They coat their wings and we watch them as they fly. And we notice they all fly off to the left and they sweep down, down to Mother Earth's crystalline, beautiful crystalline grid. And as we stand and we watch from the canopy of the beautiful serena tree, we watch them spread out and they take flight. And they take flight in an anti-clockwise direction around Gaia, taking the beautiful golden and green color codes and the pollen of this beautiful serena tree, and they are taking it through the crystalline grid as they lap around Gaia with ease. And as they come back and they return their flight in a beautiful loop, we notice they rise above and they dive bomb down through all the leaves. And we just know they're diving down through the beautiful trunk of this beautiful tree. And they're making their way down into the heart of their dear Mother Gaia. And then they're making their way into the roots. And they're taking all these color codes, nature spirits into Gaia's body, reinvigorating her meridians, her nadis, bringing her to life, bringing her into this sixth dimension. And as we stand there, we are overjoyed. We are overjoyed at being a part of this beautiful moment in time. And as we sit there on our leaf, we hear the buzzing and the returning of the dragonflies, and they're coming back. And they're coming back. And we're not sure where they're coming, but we know they're coming. And we hear this buzzing. We put our ear down to the leaf and we ask Pan, where are they, Pan? And Pan says, they're in the heart of Gaia. And they're going to fly 360 degrees in every direction out of Gaia, these billion angelic light-bearing dragonflies. And they're going to take their beautiful light from the heart of Gaia, and they are heading out into our beautiful universe, our galaxy. They are taking this light from Gaia out into the light around us in this 2112 photonic cloud around us in our cosmic waves of light. And suddenly we hear this buzz and we watch the dragonflies take flight, and they are going at the speed of light. And we watch them like sparkles of light codes, leaving in all directions as they head out. They head out. And we see them and we watch as these sparkles of light go brighter and brighter and brighter. And it's like they're creating the Schumann's resonance, this big cloud of light, and they're taking the Schumann's resonance out to meet this photonic cloud of light that is around us. This heart of the universe, this gateway that Gaia is opening. And with this light, the dragonflies anchor her and connect her into this cosmic light. And the dragonflies are now taking flight in a clockwise direction around this photonic cloud. They are flying and flying at the speed of light. We feel that connection and that pull from our sacred hearts. We feel them out there in that light. That light, our light, this cosmic galactic light. It reminds us of home. It gives us that connection. This is the place we were born. This is the place stars are birthed. We feel that connection. And we feel peace. And we feel a buzzing. And we know the dragonflies are making their way back. And we feel them coming. And we feel them coming from the top and the bottom. They are above and below. We know it. We can feel it. We can feel the energy. The dragonflies at the top are spinning in an anti-clockwise direction. Right above this beautiful Gaia. And the dragonflies are flying below in a clockwise direction. And we feel this field, this vortex opening up, connecting the heavens to the earth. As above is below. We feel the Taurian field opening up in all directions as this 0 point opens up and this Taurian field opens around us. It is so graceful. It is so graceful. And everything goes still. We are in the 0 point.
Yonna Sanya. Oyanaya. Ayakyasa. Enaya. Enya. Anaya Sata. Ketsetia. Ayakyana. Ayanaya. Yanaya. Enaya Setena. Aya. Pioneika. Aisenya. Ayasana. Ayasana.
Feel the love. Feel the love. Feel the joy. Feel the peace. Connect to your elemental spirit. safely, contained within your sacred heart, eternal, infinite, one. At one. At one, our beautiful guide, plant spirits, the elements, the elementals, the animal spirits, angelic realm, the ascended masters, the great galactic beings, the guardians, keepers of light, all the keepers, the creator. And on this auspicious day, the dragonflies, the creator's dragonflies, the billion angels, have taken flight. And from this beautiful moment is seeded creation. Creation that you have created from your sacred heart. The elementals are overjoyed. And so much gratitude and love just for being you. Being such big, huge beings of light. Souls that have journeyed here for a millennia to take flight. Namaste.
That's fantastic. So while everyone's in this beautiful space, let's continue with our other aspects of our World Service event. So pull forward the beautiful Palladians, the beautiful Palladian Council of Light, the Arcturian Head Council, the Sirius Keepers of Light Codes, and the Orion Head Council. It's our utmost pleasure to be welcomed into this framework of consciousness that each and every one of you have created as a platform to allow us to step forward at this time. There is much that we will be continuing to share through this channel for our activations that we have been working with him very diligently over many, many lifetimes, but in this lifetime as Keeper of the Light. In that field of consciousness that each and every one of you are sitting in within your sacred heart space, see yourself and be yourself within the billionth dimension with a breath and an intention. Yes, you are all there now. We have pulled you onto that stable platform of consciousness where we shall be conducting this aspect of work. As the Keeper of the Light was explaining in a short period of time in your Earth time, that there is a consideration for a cleaning up and cleansing that is required at this time of the waterways and of the land. There are some aspects of biological toxins that are of a galactic nature that have no place within your fields of consciousness, or aspects to pollute the sacred rivers of the planet, the tributaries, the estuaries, the sea, the mountains, the land, in any aspects of the elements that has been spoken about. We have an opportunity to collectively work as one in these fields of consciousness that allows us, with immense star seed and star gifts that we have incarnated through many on this call at this time, and through humanity through millions of earthbound multidimensional beings. It is part of your role and application and time that you are here to enable the consideration of cleaning up some of these aspects that no longer serve humanity in the physical form, but also on Gaia at this time. The cleaning mechanisms will be extremely thorough to the particle level, where there shall be no further trace, as there shall be within the physical and non-physical bodies, and also in any of the elements on your planet. For these elements in their isolation of consideration is quite a limited view, because these galactic natured toxins are affecting the other inhabitable planets within the universe in a physical form, 12 in total. And take a breath, if you will. We shall be directing this layer of consciousness as a combined unit of one in a cohesion field, utilizing the sacred geometry that you see behind this channel. There is a consideration that we shall start from the human application. So there has been misadventure and adulteration of some of the aspects of the physical bodies of humanity at this time. We have an opportunity and permission to remove some of these biological toxins, some that have been perpetrated on the first seeded inhabitants of your planet. The inhabited seeded humans on the planet originated from the Palladian constellation. The indigenous tribes we hold very dear within etheric heart spaces that we have when we are not embodied in a physical form like many of you. Take a breath if you will. We have an opportunity to clean out these toxins from the indigenous ones on the planet, and of the lesser in age but a bigger context of the energy fields that many of the children that are incarnated at this time. There is a collection, some may notice looking down through the dimensions from the stabilization point, the building block in the consideration, the foundational point where we stand at this time in the billionth dimension. When we look down to the aspects of humanity that we are asking to be pulled forward from the third and fifth dimension into the 24th dimension. This dimension has been spoken of before, being an immensely powerful dimension, and one that shouldn't be underestimated because its numerical value is less than 1 billion. It does not mean that it is of lesser stature than the billionth dimension. The dimension's power and precision is not bestowed on the numerical number, but by the application that we choose to work in and through the dimensions. the indigenous tribes on the planet, those that have had biological toxins administered to them, and the children on the planet are being pulled forwards now from their third and fifth dimensional seats. The aspects have been pulled into the 24th dimension that many may see. Looking down from this vantage point that we have in consciousness, you may see them using your psychic sight channels like this channel or sacred heart space. Know that the consideration of the opportunity to remove these biological toxins is extremely precise, and with the intent that we hold at this time, we are broadcasting into their sacred heart spaces. We are transferring, as you will, a resonant blend to neutralize such biological toxins. Some may have seen or felt a bolt of lightning, as you will, in the consideration that this channel saw being emitted from this billionth dimension to the 24th dimension, accessing and being accessed by those indigenous tribes that have been manipulated, or as this channel may use words, coerced or forced into receiving such biological toxins at this time, and the children from their own non-volition. The resonant blends that have been sent have been electrified within the sacred heart spaces. There is an unfortunate time allowing at this precise moment in time for this consideration to be moved through all of humanity. That is not part of our plan and purpose at this time, or the divine orchestrated consciousness from the infinite consciousness. The aspects that this channel may use in the creator or other such terms. That illumination of light you may see that is being broadcast within the sacred heart spaces of humanity. There is an alchemization and transformation of these biological toxins. As this resonant blend, as you will, is being expanded through that layer of consciousness from within, expanded into all of the physical aspects and non-physical aspects. Some may see or notice, as this channel does, that there may be a darkening within the right soul of those that are in the 24th dimension. We are sending more light codes now into the 24th dimension to allow a easy cohesion of this toxin to be removed through the clearing portal. This is all being moved up through the clearing portals, through the dimensions, cleansing and clearing, removing anything and everything that is of this biological toxin that is being referred to at this time, leaving no such trace, no inhibition on any aspects of the physical, non-physical bodies. And know, as you see down into that 24th dimension, that there is that pure consideration of color and light codes that has been re-emitted now within the 24th dimension into those human and multi-dimensional forms of humanity that are in the third dimension, or the fifth, sixth or seventh dimension in their consideration. Please take a breath, if you will. We will be continuing now as we are looking at these biological toxins in the framework of humanity, in anything in a solid, liquid or gaseous form, in a crystalline form, or in a plasma form, in any of the 5 elements on the planet. Some may see and feel that there is another explosion of light that is being directed down to humanity, into the 5th dimensional aspects of Gaia on the planet, and the 3rd dimensional aspects too. there is a clean neutralization of these toxins at this time. When we illuminate toxins with incredible light, and the toxins are then transformed from a signature wavelength to a level of homeostasis. In the consideration in humanity, there is no consideration in a requirement to remove such toxins. The precision and accuracy of the light that is emitted is such that it is just removed in an instant. It is like that there is such an intense electrification of any of the particulate that is in there of a physical or non-physical form is just exploded as such that there is nothing left. There will be further considerations to this cleaning mechanism that we have brought forward, that we are just communicating with this channel to time with you at future dates. There is precision and ease when we are working as a collective through this channel and with each and every one of you on the call. There is immense power that we bring in the consideration of terms that this channel has used before, in the precision of a grain of sand on a beach that may extend for a mile. The level of the precision that we hold is to isolate such one grain of sand that may be dropped from one of your transportation devices that this channel and in a human form may call a plane. That if such grain of sand was dropped on a beach a mile in length, that the precision is found then from isolating that single piece of sand that is dropped is such our precision with the efficacy that comes from the activations and cleaning mechanisms. Note that there are aspects of free wills for those at humanity at this time that have given their consent and choice. A choice that may inhibit their spiritual and galactic evolution. That choice is an aspect of free will that is in 100% adherence to universal laws. It is in the considerations of non-free will in some of these applications that have been forced upon humanity that we have the opportunities to elicit technologies at this time to remove and transmute. This channel is extremely mindful and masterful in the approach of the chosen language that we have been extending at this time. Knowing that our work and application is complete, and that we as the guardians and overseers for the light carried forwards for the illuminated beings of ultra-terrestrial or extraterrestrial nature, that we have many opportunities to look at the evolution of the planet and humanity, for as the central aspect of the universe that each and every one of you are at this time, there are ripple effects that us as a collective board of light wish not to affect or afflict any of the other civilizations in different constellations. We thank you for your time and your endearment to these World Service events. There shall be many more that we wish to step forwards to enable the cleaning up of these seas that have been used as toxic waste dumps. These will be brought forwards in your Earth calendar years of February. And some of these events of plutonium and other such enriched elements that have been dumped within the seas of the planet shall be neutralized. It is time for the cleaning up of the effects that humanity has had in its third dimensional form. The time is now for the consideration, as many in humanity have moved into the interdimensional aspects of who they are, and these third dimensional constructs of the deterioration and pollution that has inflicted Mother Earth, that many have been championing to elicit and illuminate the light that is required for those that wish not to see for the destructive effects that the humanity has had on such a rich and beautiful planet that has been inhabited for eons of time. There shall be a cleaning up process for the new illuminated beings to be withheld within the constructs of consciousness that is affecting each and every soul on the planet by these sub-levels of toxic waste. You will notice in the cleaning effects that there will be much cleaning, even in the regard to the toxic effects of plastics too within the sea. The colour of the rivers will start to emanate back to their pre-pollution colour configurations, and the sea. The reefs and the wildlife on the planet Earth will begin to re-establish in these areas, and new life forms will be generated. We have finished the application of the work that we were asked and to bring forward at this time. We thank you for your continued support of this channel, and it is eagerness to invite you, as was discussed before, to journey in meditation with us on one of our great transportation vessels. There is much that we can share with our technologies too through this channel that you will find very beneficial in your everyday life. We thank you for your time and attention. It's been our utmost pleasure to welcome yourselves and ourselves to unite through this channel as a force of one. We are withdrawing from this channel now. There is also one more message here that Sharon has just passed for us. Seraphiel, Seraphil, of the Seraphim wishes to connect, so I shall just bring them forward. It is a pleasure to be welcomed into the fold. We are transmitting to each and every one of you on the call through this channel from within your sacred heart spaces. Know that our words and our consciousness shall be brought forward to each and every member that comes on the call or listens to this at a future time. We are showing this channel the opportunities here for the greater activation that is being brought forwards to re-emerge and to touch the neurological aspects of Gaia at this time. And there has been much destruction in the vegetation and the trees on the planet. This neurological connection that the trees have brought to humanity has been severed somewhat. And there will be a regrowing and replanting. You will see that the Amazon and some of these plains that may have been quite desolate and quite sparse at times, there shall be a rejuvenation and replenishment of the flora and fauna in these places. There will be a changing in the weather systems on Gaia. The formation of a more normalized base of weather that one would expect to see on Gaia. Ones that as children you may remember through the seasons as Gaia changes seasons on a holistic and on an approach that isn't adulterated by humanity or by those that have adulterated the weather on Gaia for their own manipulation and for their own intent and purpose. This has been coming to an end, and this shall be finalized in your Earth years in 2022 and 2023. There may be an opportunity there with the collective consciousness as this channel is inquiring to speed up this process. We are just saying to this channel that there is a consideration in that winding mechanism to remove back to a level of homeostasis, that these aspects cannot be rushed. Otherwise, there is a shock to Gaia, as if you have droughted a plant and withheld water and then starts to flood such plant with water. There is a shock to the system. So there is a natural evolution there to bring back that homeostasis. Know that with our endeavors here from these aspects of consciousness, that we sit in the creation of humanity at the level of consciousness just sub that of the consciousness of the Creator. That the life form and consciousness that we bring touches each and every living soul on the planet and each and every living thing. That this consciousness sparks as if that consciousness that sparked each and every one of you. So there is not so much the requirement to replant and rejuvenate this aspect, though for humanity to take such steps is a step in the recourse for the destruction that many have witnessed over your earth years that you have been embodied at this time. And there will be a rejuvenation aspect that is carried forwards in consciousness too, to rehabilitate these areas, to ensure that there is sustenance for all of humanity. There is plenty of sustenance for all of humanity. Humanity is not overpopulated on your planet. your planet could hold another tenfold of the numbers that are currently incarnated on the planet with ease. There will also be a rejuvenation in the seas from the overfishing of these seas and the tremendous waste that has occurred over this time. These new life forms that has been discussed before are actually being brought to the planet at this time. There will be an abundance of shade and food for all of humanity to live as one with each other. And that amalgamation and homeostasis between mammal and animal and beast, of all of the aspects of the animal kingdoms, symbiotic in its nature. There are aspects there for humanity to see that there is less of a requirement to eat animals in its fleshiest form. There are a consideration of nutritional benefits, but these are far outweighed by the negative effects of eating another animal. There are many on this call, many that will listen to this, that adhere to that in this testament. There are other rich protein sources that are bioavailable for humanity, and a context as humanity moves away more from a physical level of form into an energetic layer of form that would much suit the interdimensional aspects of humanity as it is changing. Your digestion systems will become more finite and will not be able to tolerate such dense protein-rich foods. You will see and feel this difference in an energy consideration to your physical bodies, as many do from having such dense protein food. There is a sluggishness and a slowing down of your metabolic rate and a lowering of your frequency to allow the digestive juices to be produced to break down the food. The animal kingdom are listening with eager ears through this transmission as we are broadcasting this through all the layers of consciousness and dimensions. Some on the call may notice that the animals are looking in this direction as if we have caught their ear. We shall be stepping through with this channel at later dates and are sending much gratitude to this channel's sidekick for bringing it to his attention that we wish to piggyback on this activation. We are mindful of your earth times, that it is late for some in the world, and we wish to step forward again at a later time, and knowing that before we do depart to fill this layer of our transmission from within your sacred heart spaces, there is a warmth, a oneness, a cohesion that many will be feeling. Upliftment, resonance. We are transmitting this through this channel into the fields of consciousness, down through from this billionth dimension that each and every one of you have been listening to. Touches humanity through those aspects of infinite pure consciousness and infinite pure light. infinite pure love within their sacred heart spaces. And there is somewhat of an illumination of the flame that some may see and feel within their own beings, but into humanity too. Into the animal kingdom too, and into the aspects of consciousness contained within each living thing on the planet. We thank you for listening to broadcasting message at this time. We shall step forward with this channel too in some singular updates that we wish to bring forward, that we are asking this channel to publish through his media outlets. We are withdrawing from this channel now, and thank you for your attention. Wow. Yeah. That was cool. You did a little surprise on me then, like happened to you, Sharon. I didn't know they were coming from. Wow. Ooh, that was a different energy, wasn't it? With that.
Oh, big there, yeah.
I feel like there's a warmness in just that.
You do, you get very warm.
Yeah. Quite a different tone too, isn't it? Like to my voice, there's quite a quickness of the voice when our starseed family step forwards. Yeah, that was amazing. Wow, so well done, everyone. Like that was a big world service event. That was incredible. Yeah, and that was amazing. The beautiful opening meditation that Anita brought forward. Yeah, she really has. Anita is very proficient at your guided meditations and activations.
Oh, golly gosh, that was fun.
The quickness that was instilled in the cleaning up of our brothers and sisters of an indigenous nature on the planet.
That was beautiful.
And also the children of the planet know that, you know, these beautiful beings are and will be looked after at this time. And there will be opportunities for us to work with all of humanity, like I have asked. I get a yes, it's just not quite now, but we will be. So
Come on,
yeah, well done. And
Sharon.
yeah, thank you.
Let's have a little look who's left. If it's getting a bit late, isn't it? Oh, look at all those intrepid souls. Oh, still got them popping in.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, it's really nice time. If anyone wants to unmute and just share their experiences.
Actually, just turn, sorry.
Sarah, yeah.
Oh, angel of purification.
Oh, yeah. You're
The
very
fire of pure devotion to God that burns away sin, as chief of the Sephirim, the highest angelic rank, which celebrates God's holiness in heaven. Sephiroth leads these closest angels to God in constant worship. Wow.
You can take a screenshot of that and
Yeah.
send it to me.
We'll post that too. Yeah, it's beautiful just how many beings wish to step forward at this time to support us. You know, it really is. And on here, you know, I'll be part of my role to help each and every one of you too, to really be able to step into those aspects of, you know, who you are, to be able to communicate with these higher realms of consciousness like I do, and to be able to see them. So it'll be my utmost privilege, you know, to support you with switching on your third eye and with that decalcification to do that, and to, you know, engage your fourth eye too, which really isn't spoken about, for us to, you know, enable you to see interdimensionally, you know, in these aspects into the sixth dimension. Yeah.
How'd you go, Sue and Keith? I can see Keith with his arm all done. Do you want to unmute and share?
Is it unmuted?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
It's your introduction.
It was earlier on. It was the session before. What would we call that?
The activation.
The activation.
Oh,
Man, that was really, really intense. The pain in my shoulder was just radiating immensely.
Oh,
And I was dripping it with what was the juice of life?
with the fountain of life.
Yeah, the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Just while we're going through the meditation or through the guided stuff, I was just also including my entire shoulder because it was incredibly painful. And before we started, there was no pain. So I don't know what that was about. Yeah.
How's it looking now?
Oh, it's pretty relaxed now. It was completely throughout this whole, the second one, it was really relaxed the whole time.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. It was.
Well, obviously, I mean, you'd have a lot of damage in there, so maybe it was pushing it all out.
Yeah, I hope so. It's beyond my understanding. I'm just going along with it.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Well, it's beyond our understanding too. I think the point is it's just like if it feels right and it resonates with you and it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, snap. I also had a rotor cuff surgery
It
6
does,
weeks ago, says Kathy.
And it's because we're trying to put it into the logic fields up here. So when we're working very expanded out here and we feel it, when we try and rationalize it, there isn't enough space in here because it's only this wide.
How the hell can I rationalize any of this? You know, like if I take this to my logical, operating, functioning person, I would just be so critical of myself. Open up and go with the energy, and it just all feels correct. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a feeling state, that heart coherence.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you go, Sue?
Yeah, like I felt fantastic through the whole thing and still do. I'm just buzzing in all directions at the moment.
Well, we've as a collective at 15 billion now, so
Wow.
it's an all new record. Yeah. Thank you both for sharing.
Yeah,
Just nice
thank
to
you.
say hello and hope your shoulder mends. Well, it will. It will.
Yeah, it's a week now
Wow.
since the operation.
Through the worst of it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Thank you.
Only 5 weeks to go with this on.
Oh well, it'll be worth it.
Well, the thing is,
There's Kathy with her
don't-
strap on.
the key is don't hold on to the 5 weeks because you can
Yeah.
limited belief in that. So just leave that option there for that time to be shrunk too.
Oh, okay. Kathy, I feel for you.
I'm lucky I get mine off on Thursday.
Oh.
6 weeks gone.
How long have you had it on?
Nearly 6 weeks.
Yeah, just
But
surrender.
I've taken homeopathic remedies, and when I saw the surgeon, he was surprised. He said, "There's no infections here." Yeah, no, there's no infection. My body's healed pretty well.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It'll be interesting to see with yours, Keith, because I have a feeling yours will be off in about 3.
Yeah, that's what I reckon too.
Ah,
So just be open to it, and let's see.
yeah. Lovely. I see Deb Grant sitting there. How did you go, Deb?
Hello,
Thank-
everyone.
Sue
Thanks,
and Keith.
thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Kathy.
Not as late as you guys, so I'm probably 2 hours better off than you lot. But
You are.
but yeah, no. Again, a bit like everyone else, more energetically speaking. I am attuned to Reiki, so I feel it a bit more too. I think, but it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
great.
I'm glad you
Fantastic.
enjoyed it. Oh, well, we better let everybody go to bed, really. Yeah, and we
Yeah.
look forward to, well, 11/1 will be probably the next one, will it? With I mean, obviously they talked about cleaning up the oceans in February.
Oh yeah,
But
that's right.
obviously there'll be plenty of other things to do.
Yeah.
How wonderful, you know, I think the most wonderful thing about us all coming together is in this collective way, we're all actually really doing something. Like, it's incredible that everything has to start at an energetic level before it manifests at a physical level. And so we're really assisting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Deb. All right, we'll let you all go, and just huge thank you. That was wonderful. And it was really actually a lot of fun working with the elementals tonight.
Yeah, it was.
That was really, wasn't it fun?
Yeah, oh,
it was
it
really
was,
light and
yeah.
fun. Yeah. So keep that pixie, fairy, dragonfly, spirit within your sacred heart space and play with it.
Yeah, and connect with it. Yeah,
I thought about it after I did it. We should have jumped on the backs of the dragonflies and gone round Mother Earth and gone out to the, you know, like actually. But anyway, kind of goes as it goes. Yeah. Thanks, Penelope. Thanks, Monica. She's been buzzing since the start. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And just notice what you notice out there too in the differences.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're out with everyone else tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be good to have a look at the
There's the
Schumann's
signs of
resonance, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, we must have a little look. Someone did say that there's been lots of solar flares, and that they did actually say about that after 12/12 with Archimedes and Pallades with that work, that there are going to be some tremendous solar flares, really, you know, auspicious ones there during these activations, you know, to really anchor that and bring forward these light codes. So, yeah, must have a little look on there too. Yeah. Maybe a few little rumbles too around the planet.
Guys. So, hey guys, sorry, I was a bit late in joining. Will you be doing a replay of this?
Yes, this will be posted on my YouTube channel. So if you've not liked the YouTube channel,
I'll go put it in there.
We will put it into the link now, and then you'll be notified of any other World Service events we're doing. And this should be posted up there hopefully tomorrow or the next day, so then you can listen to all of it. And then we'll also see about whether Matt he'll be able to splice out these little bits to chunk it down, so you haven't got to listen to the full amount of it. You can then jump into Anita's guided meditation and activation, and then the cleaning up piece we did, and then the last little channeling. Yeah, so we break it down into 4 videos too.
If I push start, can I go in?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no problems at all.
Then you can let me in, and then I'll post.
Yeah, so Anita will post that in.
It'll be me.
I was at you jumping in, and then Anita will post that onto the chat there. Got it?
Oh,
Recording in progress.
You have to just turn that down. That's it. Oh, you're looking at yourself on Teams there.
Comments.
Yeah, so Anita's just posting that.
Where do you do the chat?
That information now.
More chat.
Chat, that's it.
Oh my
copy
gosh.
and paste. Wow, technology. And thank you all for holding that space too in the higher dimensions. When we do, there's far less interference that comes through, because our frequency is so much higher that they find it very hard to try and come in. So
I felt like,
remember too though, before we go, do you want to just say about the triple lock-in?
Yes. Because we've all, and your frequency's gone up to 15 billion. We need to turn that off. Close, leave. I had an echo. It's great to just see yourself back up in the billionth dimension, and imagine you're looking down upon yourself now, and just send down the instruction. I'm triple locking my chakras, just means you're sealing them all up. I'm pulling my aura into my skin to protect my light, doesn't drop your frequency at all. And then create either sacred geometry. You could use Metatron's cube around you, or if you feel just a simple diamond or the flower of life, and then just fill it with the light that you feel protects you, whether it be the violet flame or golden light or golden green. Just go with what your intuition says. It's so important now, after these big pieces of work, and particularly in the coming days, that you protect your frequency, because you're holding a lot more light. And that's really it. Keep grounded and keep your fluids and your fresh water up.
I was just going to say,
because this is a big shift. Thanks,
and limit
Silky.
how much turkey you're going to eat.
Yeah. Watch the cream on the pud.
Yeah.
Watch, actually, seriously, you know, we can all enjoy Christmas, but not so much the overindulgence. It's just listening to your body at that full point. Go off, have a break. I think that the body doesn't, we find it just doesn't cope with the heavy meals now.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already changed. Like we've been all noticing how easy it's been not to eat this week. We're living on prana.
A lot of fasting. actually.
Prana and
I
smoothies.
haven't really felt like
Yeah.
eating.
No,
to be
that's
honest.
great.
Not hungry at all.
No,
All
no, no.
right, brilliant. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Good night,
Thanks
beautiful
again.
family of light.
Yeah.
Sleep well.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
night. Bye. Oh, just before you end, you can stop recording.